It's always been like that?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, I haven't been here forever, but it's been here.
Since you've been here.
It's been there a long time.
All right. It's kind of ugly.
All right,
It
so
is.
we're gonna go on to the T-Mobile generator project. And we have a packet in here. And so, if we don't have a proposal per se, we have some general information on noise. Not sure how often it runs in the, and we've got the exercise mode and an operating at normal load mode. I don't know if this thing sits quiet like ours until it's needed, or it's running all the time.
No, it's just for emergencies, and it's going to be inside of the existing fence area.
Yeah, which is different than we thought to begin with.
Yes, I was mistaken again. So, but yeah, they're trying to show the diagram of the fire and evacuation.
So the request is, because we don't have an actual request, but they're looking to put a generator, a backup generator, emergency generator in the fenced area. And if you went out there and looked at it, there's a big spot for a pad there. It is right along the path there and along the outside of the ball field. But if this is used for emergency backup, so it's not going to be running all the time, and the air conditioners that are on there do run a fair amount already. So there are noise generators in there. So I stood there the other day and listened.
So did I, yes.
The question that was, what is the easement? Because the easement that they're asking for is for the gas line that is already running through the parking lot. So that would be on this picture, the overhead picture here.
Exhibit 3.
Exhibit 3, yes.
Okay.
You can see there's a green line. That is the existing CenterPoint Energy line coming in to the fire station.
Really?
So it runs through that easement area anyway. The addition to the fire station goes out about to that red line easement. Okay, so it's not shown on here. So the question we had for Bob before he left is they're asking for an easement. And he was saying that as part of that approval of that easement, we could ask for certain considerations. Document that when the firefighters are in there for a fire, that we could still park on that area. We need a sidewalk on that end of the fire station that would be in the easement. We could ask them to pay for that sidewalk as part of granting them the easement. And then we would also, he would write up the easement paperwork to say anytime they disrupt the bituminous or the sidewalk, they have to repair it to as found condition. I think the other thing is if you walked back there, you see where all the electrical boxes are on the west end of that cage. Right now, there's a low spot where the water all collects. And so it'd be nice to, as part of that, have that run off properly so it doesn't collect water at the right where all the electrical equipment is. So Bob said he could put that into an easement agreement. And then
That's a good idea.
then the Generac would be inside the caged area on the platform that they would make his diagram here. So you can see in the last set of photos there, there's a monument sitting in the middle of the grass here,
Yeah.
and all the electrical boxes. That's where we get a big lake, because the concrete and the blacktop end there, and there's no drainage.
Okay.
So that's it. That's a big lake. And now that the fire station has downspouts, the front downspout does spill over into this area, so that will add to the lake.
Okay.
So if they are amenable to that easement as Bob would propose it, and think that the generator is going to be inside rather than sitting out in that grass area.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the electrical boxes, again on the page of pictures there, you can see the electrical boxes with the monument there. The gas meter would be on the right end, up against the fence there. So it would be right there, or here.
Oh, it's good, it's gonna be in the
So
engagement.
they've already got the boxes there, the gas meter would be on the outside of the fence, but it would be in line with those meters. As I understood it when I went through the plans the other day. And since it is an easement, so they can have access to their pipe underground, it wouldn't affect parking or, right now, in the other easement there, the green easement that AT&T has to get into their fenced area, that's where we put all of our pallets of cardboard right now, so.
Oh,
They're just saying we can't block off, they have a big sliding gate there, so they can get their equipment in and out. And when they come to do repairs, we have to get our cardboard out so they can park in their easement. We also let them use our parking lot for their cleaning and stuff. So Liz, are we missing anything? They really were looking for the easement and letting us know where they're putting their equipment.
So we would ask them, or I would ask them to create a survey of drawing, describing this new easement, and showing our recent addition to the fire hall and all the existing buildings, and then, they drafted an easement agreement we would send out to Bob for review, he could redline that, potentially get it back for your June meeting.
Okay.
We'll see how fast, they might, I don't know if they're able to survey it that fast or not.
They've been pretty quick on other issues in the area, so.
And the elements of that would be, they would install a sidewalk, they would fix the low spot, they would allow us to park trucks there during emergencies or when we're having fire hall meetings.
great.
Or it'd be open for general, it would be open for parking for the fire station.
Correct.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor, do you have the specs on what that sidewalk has to be?
I do not, but I know the contractor does, because he was working with the assistant chief on it, because there's some other repairs there that they were getting bids on. It's an egress to that room, so there has to be a ramp down. It has to get down to ground level, so it can't be a complete step off. But I would assume that goes north, and I don't know how wide it has to be.
Is it handicap accessible? It's gotta meet specs for handicap accessibility.
And that's from the building official, so I'm sure they've got that documented. And Laura, you can set her up with Dana. You can see the picture at the end of the building there. It's not a big step down, but
No.
the end of the fire station there. But, yeah, from handicap accessible, it'd have to be a certain width and certain ramp angle. Any other questions on that? And if Liz can get that pulled together for the June meeting, then we'll deal with it then. All right. Grading agreement.
Mr. Mayor, the grading agreement just allows Mr. Peterson to grade the site ahead of any building permit that's issued. This is identical to the one we did for phase one, and both Shane and Rudy have reviewed this.
So this is no name, Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Blake.
this is the no name up on 22,
Name brand.
name
Name
brand. No name. Steak's the steak guy. Sorry, name brand. Okay, so this is his, you talked about it going all the way back to 201st. No? You said something about 201st last time he was in here.
No, because there's another property there.
His property
That's
doesn't
what
go
I
back,
thought.
his property doesn't go back that far.
Oh, that's, I could, yeah, okay, yeah, I know.
Mueller's has their property on that that butt up to it.
Okay. So he's just pushing back to where he is further into his,
Phase 2 and 3 are his last.
Well, phase 3, is he taking down the house right away, or?
No, pardon me, he's not doing that right
So he just wants a grading permit for phase 2.
away. Phase 2, right, to get that second set of buildings going in the fall.
So it says legally described on attachment A. Attached exhibit A.
So they may not be attached to it.
Because we're not giving him, let's see, property shall be graded, proposed name brand self-storage facility phase 2 and 3 final construction plans. So we're giving him a grading permit for phase 3 at this point too?
Well, see, I think he has to get some of the ponds in there.
Somewhat?
I think he has to get the stormwater ponds completed, that all tie together.
oh,
And then you just say you wouldn't remove
But-
the house until,
Can he get all the ponds in without removing the house?
I'll double check on it. I thought that he could,
Because we don't have the exhibit to know what he's,
right,
I didn't realize we were doing phase 3 as well, because I thought with the house and barn and stuff still there, that would interfere with the ponding.
if we have to limit it to 2, we'll just do 2.
and he comes back for 3?
And then you have to-
Yeah, because he's not ready to do 3 yet for a while.
It's not, yeah, even though it's
So why don't we just do 2, make it 2, and,
Yeah.
all right.
because that should all be within the area that's open right now without taking out any buildings. Correct?
I want to pull up the graphic here, but
Mary.
How are you sleeping?
Do you
Do you have
need a
to sit
ride
up?
home tonight? I can give you a ride.
I will need a ride.
I'll give you a ride home. Be glad to. My husband will be in bed by 9, so I can give you a ride.
yeah, I think it has to include part of 3, because he was supposed to remove that one, a building or 2, and it's just a grading, remember, so it's not the building permit for the structure.
No, but, so what did you just say? It has to include 3, or?
It looks to me like the ponds do overlap with the 3.
So does that mean we give him 2 at this point and come back for 3, or?
No, I think he would want, it would make the most sense to do the pond. See, there's the pond south of phase 3, a small pond, and then this here is a small pond on the south side of phase 3, so on the east side, and then there's a pond up here on
Is that the barn in the middle of that?
this here is, yeah, the house is here, in the barn, so.
So is he tearing down a house and a barn?
Eventually he will. Eventually he will.
Sort of sad.
Otherwise, if you want to just,
What's the downside of not just approving both of them?
the downside of not, what, I'm sorry?
Well, because he's not doing the grading plan on 3, but it looks like one of the ponds is going to be on the.
It gets into 3.
I think I think it would monetarily make sense to do both
that
ponds
yeah.
when he's doing this pond. And to get the mass grading done. Cause see, it's all one lot. Up until he puts those buildings on but not the type of grading that he's, that matches the plans. Yeah, if you demo a building, you have to make sure that it's safe and not like left to get full. So I would either, if you're comfortable just going with both phase 2 and 3, just for the grading, or, I can get more information.
When he tears down the buildings, will we need another grading plan for that portion of 3?
No, he has to tear some of those buildings down now because of the lot size was made smaller, see? So all those accessory buildings don't meet our ordinance on a residential lot. So that was one of our conditions of approval. And that he bring that site into conformance code enforcement wise too, because it's full of vehicles back there. I just reminded him of that the other day, he said, what?
Farmer left him back there.
So when he goes to develop 3, will this be the grading plan that's in place then to finish off that? Because when he pulls down the house and the barn, there'll need to be something on that portion before he starts building, right?
No, normally, if he had a building permit, see, he wouldn't need a separate grading plan. But because he's not ready with his drawings to pull the building permit, that's why.
Okay, so when he goes to build phase 3, part of that building permit will be
The final grading
final
plan.
grade.
Right, so whatever he hasn't done.
And that way we'll know that the house foundation and the barn foundation, all that's been dealt with.
Right, and everything matches the approved plans, correct?
Okay,
Okay.
other questions on this? He's anxious to get moving dirt?
Right, yes.
And make sure he doesn't bury those vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, not that anybody ever buries things and now then. it should.
We have a
Trees.
refrigerator, a freezer in the back of our lot that somebody buried years ago.
They do come up. My sister lived in an apartment that they built above a dump in Omaha. And every time I go visit her, there'd be a tire or something coming up the lawn. All right, anything else on this? So because this is an agenda item here, we can vote on this tonight?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Alders,
I'll make a motion to approve the grading permit for phase 2 and 3 of the proposed brand name self-storage facility.
name brand.
That's right.
Name brand.
I second it.
A motion and a second. And Councilmember Alders and Blake. Any other questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Yeah.
All right, gee, we're 2 minutes early. Well, I want to say that in the pool of applicants we got for P and Z, I was very impressed with. I know we said this when we were interviewing them. And I was very pleased. I know we have good candidates throughout. I think that the enthusiasm will build as we go forward.
Right.
But we had determined qualifications. I appreciate the questions that were developed and the way it was approached. We're able to identify long-term goals, short-term goals, experience relevant to the position, research. You know, I was impressed that people had taken the time and effort to review the comp plan, look through the ordinances, had done homework coming in, and that was, you know, obviously one of the things I was looking for is somebody who is going to come into this knowing the guiding documents and having researched that. So I appreciate that. So I would like to actually make a motion that I would propose that we appoint Martin Buys, Lars Carlson, and Dan Hoppala. And just in the order, I just was going alphabetically here. We have a term ending December 2024, a term ending December 2025, and a term ending December 2026. And certainly we can arrange them in any order, but I just went down BCH as a motion to say, fill those terms in that order. So I would move that accordingly.
Mr. Mayor, I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. It's now open for discussion.
So when do we get to discuss why we would pick those three?
Right now. That's my motion, and now it's up for discussion. If people have others that they like, I looked through the criteria that we had. I appreciated that those three had done their homework, going through the comp plan, looking at the ordinances. I appreciated, as I went back through my notes, their intent, that they were intent on keeping Now Then a country place as we grew responsibly. I looked at their involvement, their thoroughness in preparing, not only for the interview, but their intention on preparing for the process of being a commissioner. So as I looked through the 5 applications, those to me, as I looked through our qualifications, hit the most marks based on the notes that I had, so.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Greenberg,
they were Lars Carlson, Martin Buys, and Daniel Hoppala.
correct.
What does the council think of the idea of ranking their most favorite candidate, or I don't know if that's the right word, who they think is most qualified candidate with 5 points, all the way to the candidate they think is least qualified with a 1 point. Each of the council members ranks their candidates. We bring them together, add up the points. The top 3 point earners are who we collectively think are the top 3 candidates. I was kind of trying to think it through and how we could vote on them to where it would be a collective measure. And I don't know, this is what shook out.
I had the same thought. Rank them 5 through 1, and then you add them up, and the scores are the scores.
I like that too.
So I would like to,
Which would get the top vote, the 5 or the 1?
5 is top.
5 is top, okay.
so there's a motion on the table, we're discussing it right now.
Okay,
How do I propose to pull that motion and make a new one?
well, first we
Well,
have to
you had
vote on this one.
So,
You vote on
Okay.
it, then we can create a new motion that
Okay.
starts the process over again if it doesn't pass.
Okay.
all right. So all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. I say
Aye.
aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion fails. All right.
I make a motion that we vote on the candidates by the score ranking I just mentioned. You take your list of 5 candidates, you put at the top, with a score of 5, who you think is most qualified, and rank it all the way down to a score of 1, who you think is least qualified.
If you get, how about if we all get the same paper? Because then we could all, I mean, this should be just anonymous voting. It shouldn't be. Because isn't this all on record here?
It is, so we're just gonna go through and
Yeah,
you're gonna rank yours,
right.
and then we're gonna,
Well, should we vote on if this is the proper
We need a second.
Method,
Oh, yeah, you
I'm
make a
proposing-
motion.
I'm proposing this be the method.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Anybody else?
So what are we doing here?
Well, here, to cut it, you take the paper and put it into, write your name, the names and score them, the 3 names you pick, or the 5 names.
5 names,
And score them.
Yeah,
By
so
numbers.
you
And
put
then she
your-
takes them.
you put your most qualified candidate at the top with a score of 5. Underneath it, your second most qualified with a score of 4.
Okay,
In the middle, your third candidate with a score of
Okay.
3. Number 4 candidate would be a score of 2, and the 5th candidate would be a score of 1.
So, Mr. Mayor, am I missing a candidate? I thought we had 4 candidates.
We have 5.
5.
Who's the,
Joel Springer, Daniel Hopala, Lars Carlson, Martin Bice, and Troy Bednars.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. I have them clipped together, sorry. Carl, who's Carlson?
And I would say put your score next to their name, so it'll be easy for Lori to tabulate the results.
There you go.
So we're passing to Lori.
Yeah.
Lori's gonna write the numbers down.
Which is
Give
a
us the
secret
final.
ballot. This is a secret ballot, and we can't do secret ballots. So just,
We're
Let
not
you know
doing
that-
secret ballot because she's gonna read them out.
did we put our name on them?
I put my name on mine.
Okay, that was not part of the directions,
Oh,
so
I'll
I
put my
did
name on
not.
mine. Can you hand it back? I'll put my name on mine.
You put your name on yours?
I did not.
Did you?
No, we weren't instructed to do that, so that was the violation.
We need our name on it?
Yeah, put your name on it. There you go.
Yours?
Yep.
Then it's not secret. That's right. Thank you, Mary.
Well,
Make sure we
still
don't
keep Saul out of jail.
break any rules.
It's not gonna worry some people.
We might have to have a runoff too. The possibility. That we might have not 3 people vote on the same person.
Let's see how it shakes out.
I don't know.
Because then we can vote again if it's, because we're gonna at least get the top 2, right?
Have you had any other calls on the POF project?
Nope. And I actually didn't get calls, I just got those emails that I sent out, so.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, so those emails that were sent out on the CST property up there, the Toft property, I think those were all Oak Grove people.
Is that on the agenda?
Nope.
I do want to give this to Lori.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, that was my bad.
So, what's her name?
Excuse me?
I was looking at her name. Christine, does she pay taxes in Malvern? Or does she pay taxes in Oak Grove?
Now then,
Well, then,
it's,
She
so her
has to-
driveway's right on the borderline. And so she's literally the driveway width inside of now then. But her property was that first one that, because that was my question, is if you're in Oak Grove, why would you be here for this meeting? But it was, she was assessed because she's right on the border. And her driveway is immediately inside the border.
So she
But-
uses that road, she uses that road enough to get into her driveway.
Yeah, so she comes in 183rd from 7th, just to the borderline. So if, if Oak Grove's here, she's just going a driveway width over the line into now then. And as we're saying, all of her property runs up that road, but her driveway is immediately there, so.
Okay, are you ready for the answers? So number 1 is Lars Carlson. Number 2, Martin Dees.
there we go.
And number 3, Daniel Hapala.
Just
Wait
what
a
you
sec, so
said.
the highest numbers win, right?
Yep,
So who is it again?
we've got
Lars?
Carlson,
The same
Martin?
ones you said, right?
Martin
Martin Dees,
and Daniel.
Daniel.
Okay.
And so do we want, how do we want, there's term for 24, 25, and 26. Do we want to do them in their numerical order and just say? Because
I'm not following you.
So
So,
they're not
so the
gonna
terms
run
they're
the same
filling, so we stagger terms?
Oh, I see.
So
what
right
you're
now,
saying.
there's an open term for 20, that ends in 24, open term that ends in 25, and open terms end in 26.
So one will only be on for, 2 years.
Do you read
Well, the
what
bottom
I-
one should be the 2-year term,
Of the 3, do you?
of the 3. The one who got the least votes should
Yeah.
get that 2-year term,
I would agree.
and the most votes should get the other.
That makes sense to the council? Whoever got the highest votes gets the longest serving term.
Yeah.
Alright. I can let them know tomorrow.
So I would invite them to sit in the meeting tomorrow. Obviously, 4 public hearings wouldn't be a way to start them, and then we'll
We
get
have
the.
meetings tomorrow again?
well,
Planning and
P&Z.
zoning.
Oh, P&Z.
You're welcome to join us.
I've watched them online. I haven't gone to
The
them.
action packed.
Tomorrow could be.
Why?
Oh, there'll be some papers.
I'll just,
It's gonna
Oh,
be
that,
busy.
about the chips, the wood chips?
Yeah, they're not doing that, right, but people are Googling and seeing and that's coming up.
but anyway, so we would look to have them start in June, so we got to get the training plan together for the council and the commissioners, so.
So, Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Rainville.
I have a concern that this is still a secret ballot, even though the results were read. But as a council member, we should be providing our input on public record. So at a minimum, our ranking should be in the minutes. In other words, we are violating.
Yeah,
That's
this is
fine.
all public documents
Yeah.
that will go in the minutes, yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Greenberg.
would it be appropriate for her to read off each ballot out loud?
That would be fine. I just don't want to get ourselves in trouble here. We've worked long and hard on this process. I think it's a good process. And I hate to see it get waylaid because we didn't do it correctly. And that was one of my issues of having a discussion on what is our process going to be, so that was hammered out before we started the process.
Okay, whatever.
Would you like me to read all the names?
Are you comfortable with that,
Final
Jason?
scores?
I don't care, I'm good. I
Okay.
stand behind my numbers.
Okay, so we have, number in first place,
No, I think it's just the individual.
Read
ones.
She wants you to
individual,
read individual
So
votes.
like, pick up all everyone's,
So say,
Mary voted.
yeah,
Mary
say,
voted.
Mary voted for these people.
Okay.
Linda voted for these.
okay, sorry. So Councilmember Alders voted for Troy Bednarz, 5, Martin Bees, 4, Joel Springer, 3, Lars Carlson, 2, and Dan Hapala, 1. Councilmember Blake, Lars Carlson, 5, Troy Bednarz, 4, Martin Bees 3, Dan Hapola 2, Joel Springer 1. Councilmember Rainville, Martin Bees 5, Lars Carlson 4, Dan Hapola 3, Joel Springer 2, Troy Bedners 1. Councilmember Greenberg, Lars Carlson 5, Martin Bees 4, Daniel Hapola 3, Joel Springer 2, Troy Bedners 1. And Mayor Pilon, Dan Hapola 5, Lars Carlson 4, Martin Bees 3, Troy Bedners 2, Joel Springer 1.
Six months of work, stamp it.
Now the training. All right, anything else? That's the end of our agenda. Thank you all for suffering through the road meetings. I think that was a little surprising, but getting through the rest of this quickly, I appreciate it. It's a reasonable time. I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Go ahead, Mary.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn.
A motion? We have a second.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. We are adjourned.